just asking you, has anybody ever said to you, you're crazy?
I'd like to ask you to give this video a thumbs up if you're a fan of Shark Tank. Join the notification squad by subscribing and hitting that bell notification on, but also, don't forget to comment down below saying I subscribed to enter our monthly shoutouts, and we'll make sure to reply and thank as many of you as we possibly can. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have a great idea for a product but are lacking the financial means to realize it, it can be a good idea to jump into ABC's Shark Tank and pitch your idea to the show's 5 millionaire investors. The experienced entrepreneurs have invested a lot of money, but even though they always watch out for possible malinvestments, there have been times when they were cheated out of a lot of money, while other times they managed to notice the warning signs in time. So put on your swim fins as we take a look at 10 times the sharks almost got scammed. We'll dive right in with an invention that was so ridiculous it could almost be called a scam, and fortunately, none of the sharks fell for it. During season 4 of Shark Tank, a man by the name of Bruce Gaither pitched an idea that involved using dog poop to attract flies to his all-natural trap, and he asked for $25,000 in exchange for 15% stake in his company. Damon remarked that he was kind of creating the problem by leaving the poop outside, and even Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane couldn't help convince the sharks of the no-fly cone. On the contrary, they actually laughed at the fact that Gaither brought a spokesman who doesn't even have a dog, and while this was certainly a very entertaining moment on the show, and Gaither got points for bringing his cute dog along, it wasn't even close to being enough to get him a deal with any of the sharks. Mark Sullivan marketed himself as an entrepreneur, songwriter, ladies clothing designer, and inventor during his pitch in Shark Tank's 3rd season and left the celebrity investors rather confused. He came to present his Sullivan generator, a machine that produces natural energy from Earth's rotation, and, conveniently enough, gold as a byproduct. Sullivan had the vision of developing this new technology and leave a lasting legacy of goodness, but even though he had apparently already invented over 1,000 products that make over $1 billion a year in profits, the sharks seemed to find it hard to believe anything he was saying or to just keep a straight face. The pitch sounded so out of this world that Robert asked Sullivan how long he was visiting Earth for, and Damon wondered if anyone had ever called him crazy. Sullivan was not shaken by that, however, and when none of the sharks wanted to give him a deal, he simply stated that they probably just didn't get it. While Sullivan might not have come with bad intentions and possibly even believed what he was saying, this whole thing definitely sounded like a big fat scam, and the sharks were able to spot this one a mile away. It is common knowledge that a lot of the deals made on the air on Shark Tank fall through once the cameras are off, and one of those deals is the one that Robert Herjavec made with Megan Cummins. While a lot of deals fall apart during the due diligence process, this one was different, as Cummins actually found a different investor after the show, leaving Robert with some regrets. Cummins had presented her luxury soap company You Smell Soap to the sharks, and left with a $55,000 deal from Herjavec in exchange for 20% of her company, as well as the promise of an annual salary of $50,000. After the show, however, Cummins claimed to have received a contract by Herjavec offering her $55,000 for half her company, which she of course rejected, and their deal was never closed. Instead, she found a different investor and business started picking up before she eventually sold her company. Next up is another deal that was made on the show but didn't actually go through after the episode aired, and it is also another one that Robert Herjavec made. It all started when Doug Storer tripped when running in the dark one night. After the incident, he and his wife Renata came up with the idea of running shoes with rechargeable LED lights that light up a trail, and after their pitch, Robert offered to invest $250,000 in exchange for 15% of the company. After the show aired, however, the couple received offers from over 300 companies worldwide that would have bought their product, which meant that they didn't need Robert's investment anymore and the deal fell through. Now, taking that risk certainly paid off for the Storers, and they ended up selling their website later to make $1.5 million in revenue. In light of this success story, Robert might have felt cheated out of some money though. Bill Lyons came to the Sharks in season 4 pitching his idea of a website called Revestor, a real estate search engine of the future. He was looking for $250,000 in exchange for 10% equity in his company. Lions claimed to have created an algorithm that would help people invest in real estate as it allows you to see a house's value in the future. When Lions said that the customers would pay $100 per month to have access to the website, Mark Cuban outright stated that he hated the business and was out. The other sharks appeared to be very skeptical as well and were confused when Lions first said that he targeted first-time home buyers, before later claiming that he targeted both typical first-time buyers and house flippers. The investors told him that he was speaking from both sides of his mouth and had no business concept, which made him appear to be a con artist. Although none of the sharks invested, the Revestor website still exists and there is even a free app associated with it. However, the app only has a 2.5-star review, so it seems like Lions' business still has some work to do. Being experienced entrepreneurs and investors, the sharks usually know right away when a business idea doesn't work or appears to be a scam. When Max Valverde from Boston, Massachusetts pitched his idea of Morninghead, a cap for curing bedhead hair in the show in season 5, the investors couldn't stop laughing during the pitch. They basically called this cap a scam as it was a diaper you put on your head, according to Damon, or at least simply a shower cap with a bumper sticker. Even though Valverde claimed to have sold around 7,000 caps in over 42 countries, the sharks didn't fall for the scam this time, as none of them invested and Valverde had to go home without a deal. There are different ways to scam the sharks, but the most frequent way is to surely pretend to be looking for an investment, but really just use the show for one's own advertisement. This is also what the sharks accused Adam Tishauer of doing in season 7 of Shark Tank. Tishauer entered the tank and introduced a sleepaway camp for adults, Camp No Counselors. He was asking for $300,000 in exchange for 7.5% equity stake in his business, but even though the sharks liked the business model of the camp-like resorts, none of them was interested in investing. Mark Cuban remarked that Tishauer was a party promoter instead of an entrepreneur, and Damon John went even further, calling him a gold digger who wasn't actually looking for any investment, but rather wanted to promote his camps on TV. Now, whether Tishauer was really looking for an investment or was actually just on the show for free advertisement, it certainly did help his business, as Camp No Counselors have since expanded to 8 different cities and have been featured in several newspaper and magazine articles. Next up is one of the most memorable scams in Shark Tank history. During the show's first season, a woman named Gayla Bentley introduced her fashion line for women over size 12 to the sharks and ended up making a deal with Damon John and Barbara Corcoran for $250,000 in exchange for 50% stake in her company, Gayla Bentley Fashion. After filming the pitch, the three worked out the details of the investment and Bentley eventually received the money. However, the sharks then never saw or heard from her again and the company closed within a month or two, and although the website is still online, it hasn't been touched in almost 10 years. Both Damon and Barbara have called this their worst investment ever, and it is surely one of the worst failed deals and the biggest rip-offs in the show's history. In February 2012, Ryan Naylor introduced his Esso watches to the sharks. The timepieces were built and fused with negative ions, which according to Naylor work against the positive ions we are bombarded with by electronic devices and bring the wearer's body back into balance by restoring an ideal energy field. He was asking for $35,000 in exchange for 20% of his company, and the fact that he had sold over $110,000 of Esso watches in the previous year certainly intrigued Kevin O'Leary. While Lori agreed to put the watches to a test and they seemed to improve her balance, Mark immediately bowed out, saying the technology was a joke and he was allergic to scams. The other sharks became more and more skeptical too, as Naylor didn't have any tests or data backing the technology up, and on top of all that, Damon then accused him of stealing the design of his timepieces from another company. Eventually, Kevin O'Leary said that he would consider investing if Naylor admitted that the negative ion technology was a scam, but the entrepreneur wouldn't do it, affirming his belief in the technology and going home without a deal in the end. Our number one is a scam that all 5 sharks and the company's customers unfortunately fell for. In season 5 of the show, Charles Yim introduced his breathometer and the sharks decided to go in on the deal. Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary, Robert Herjavec, Damon John, and Lori Greiner gave him a total of $1 million for 30% of the company that produced a portable device that claimed to measure someone's blood alcohol content using their smartphones. Within the first 2 years, the company became so successful that it made $30 million in sales, but in 2017, the Federal Trade Commission charged Breathometer with fraud for not correctly representing the accuracy of their products because the app proved unreliable. They eventually settled the claim, but Breathometer had to offer full refunds to consumers who requested them, and the sharks were surely not amused. Thank you for checking this video out, and don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe for new videos every day. Turn that bell notification on and comment down below that you subscribed, and we'll make sure to reply and thank as many of you as we possibly can. Once again, thank you for watching and see you next time.